Throne Excessive Guilt is a brand new debut record from this hardcore punk metalcore band from Sweden. This has been a band that's been on a lot of people's radar. If you're into metalcore or hardcore punk, you probably heard the name Throne, because they have literally, and I mean this, no pun intended, been thrown onto people's algorithm quite a bit. You'd see them pretty much if you finished a metalcore record or something. They'll be listed on there. They've been on several playlists, and it's insane. They have 2 songs that have over 20 million streams, and this is a band that just came from nowhere. It's so insane that this is a band that just had little fan base, just a small start like most bands, but then 1.4 million monthly listeners like that. It's incredible. But let's go into the record. I'm not going to go through track by track because I literally don't have much to say about this record. So I'm going to say as a summary. The structure of this does not work as an album, unfortunately. It's the same idea just being done time and time again with this band. Yeah, I think EP structure would be fine, but you're pretty much hearing the same song from this, like Guilt to Backfire, which I like these as singles, standalone singles, they're cool, but when you just listen to them back to back, they just feel like the same song with just slight different riffs. The riffs feel kind of just the same in some point. They don't really have much life or depth to it. It just kind of feels similar, and the over-processed sound of this can be kind of unbearable, especially since every time I'm trying to find something new, I'm not really getting it. It just feels like over-processed, kind of the same old metalcore stuff. It's got a unique edge to go for more hardcore, which I have appreciated, since my favourite album this year is a hardcore record, the new Knocked Loose one. But unlike Knocked Loose, this is the same stuff. They don't really throw much in. You have a lot of these electronic sort of riffs that kind of play throughout the record, and I guess that's supposed to differentiate, but it doesn't, because a lot of the tracks have it. It doesn't really have much to it. I can't really tell you a moment I really enjoy, because I don't know which track it'd be on. Like, there's there's like this little trap beat you hear on a bunch of tracks, and I like the way they do it on Look At Me, but the only reason I knew this one was because I kept getting this one recommended to me more than the others, so that's the only reason I know this, is if I just heard the track the most, because it kind of sticks out. But it feels like an album you have to listen again and again and again religiously for it to stick in your head. It's pretty much the same thing, and especially since a lot of these tracks came out, it's 11 tracks, and half the album came out, and it's a 20-minute record, is awful. You pretty much get 10 new minutes of material. Matter of fact, because literally 3 of the songs we had are 2 minutes and something seconds. You got 8 minutes and a 9 minutes with the single, and then you cut off with the extra seconds. You literally have almost over half the record already just by that. And since it's only 10 extra minutes, it's just not really that worth it, to be honest. It's just awkward having a very short length album, but a lot of the tracks feel so similar that it feels like there's filler that doesn't even need to be on there, and having filler on a 20-minute record is very odd, to say the least. It's not something I'd ever think about. Throne definitely have some great ideas. I'm not saying they're a bad band, I just think the structure does not work for albums. If this was an EP, say there was like 1 or 2 new tracks, that'd be fine. I think that works better for an EP, but it just feels like this structure they're going for does not work as an album, because you're just getting the same thing from start to finish, and it almost doesn't feel unique. There's not really any songs that stood out to me, because it's the same thing. It's just the most kind of processed record. You go from it 1 to the end, and you just don't feel anything different with any of the tracks. Like, I could say all the tracks can be enjoyable in their own right. I think if you listen to it on its own, it has elements to enjoy, but if you're putting it all together, it just doesn't. It's just a kind of a mess when you look at it like that. For what it's worth, I don't think it's a bad album, so I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5, but when it comes to a full listen, I just don't think it really works very well. It's quite odd. But yeah, that is my review of the brand new record by Throne. Hope you'll enjoy. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next video.